according to a survey conducted in the first half of July by Pew Research Center, the Republican Party holds a clear advantage in terms of voter engagement. Their national survey shows that 45% of GOP voters, that is your red line, say they're really enthusiastic, more enthusiastic than usual about voting this November. The percentage for Democratic voters, enthusiasm gap has narrowed for both parties.
Even some of the more confident left-leaning broadcast and websites seem to be, at the very least, an inevitability. When the midterm dust settles, conservatives will be much more powerful and Democrats may be needing to adjust their attitude. Our next guest will likely not only agree, but take it a step or two further. Welcome into MidPoint, host of the Black Sphere radio program, member of the Tea Party Conservatives, and author of Sexy Brilliance and Other Political Lies, which is not my life story. Kevin Jackson joins us right here on MidPoint. Kevin, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure, Ed.
Kevin, the Democrats say, wait a minute, we have no problem with this. Everything's fine. We have no fears come the midterms in 2016. I would imagine that you would be one of those who would say, you're hiding.
Right. They also said they would be campaigning on Obamacare. And also, you would think they'd be using its owner, the guy who founded the whole movement of national omnis, the belle of the ball. Every campaign on the planet on the right is using Mitt Romney and others. You've got Hillary Clinton, who they've touted as the preemptive favorite, and now they're trotting out Elizabeth Warren as a potential challenger to her. So if this is a problem for conservatives, I'd really like to see them define it and convince me of it.
I'm going to get back to Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren in just a moment, but let me talk about Mitt Romney here for a second. Do you share the belief that I think I'm starting to go with as well as other people? Mitt Romney is not going to run for president in 2016. This almost seems like a wonderful dodge at this point. He's out there working for everybody else. It just doesn't.
For whatever reason, at a particular time in life, that he may very well do it. Elizabeth Warren, I don't see the Democrats honestly with a leg to stand on. Even though Wright is candidate, I think that it's to be honest with you, if that's the best the Democrats have, congratulate, and why it's okay for a Hamas terrorist to hide their weapons in churches and schools and hospitals.
In public, we have an attention span sometimes as that of the lifespan of a flea. And when you have things like this that come by and they're really terrible things happen, bad stuff, scandals, usually it takes maybe, I don't know, a couple of months and all of a sudden everything's fine again. So I'm playing devil's advocate here, though. For those who will say that it means that Hillary Clinton still is the elephant in the room. She still has the most power, and you can take all these things because by the time we get down to serious campaigning next year and we hit Iowa, people are going to forget all about this.
Well, normally I would say you're right because the attention span is that of a flea or a mosquito or whatever insect you want to pick. But what Barack Obama's had the most miraculous thing that he's transformed in politics, if you ask me, is he's made people pay attention and pay attention longer. I mean, you would think things like Benghazi would go away. It's not. The Tea Party would go away. The deficit, the budget, the debt, and on, his foreign policy. These are all things that both Hillary Clinton or any other leftist is going to have to own. And the other thing is this. When Barack Obama ran in 2008, for sure, it was rock star status. Neither Hillary Clinton nor Elizabeth Warren has rock star quality. In fact, I mean, come on, Hillary Clinton, for the most part, she's going to be very grandmotherly when it's all said and done, and that's why they're positioning, and I find this humorous, that they would be positioning yet another old white woman to step into her place, that being Elizabeth Warren. So there's no sex appeal on that ticket. And the person who probably would have the most sex appeal, if you ask me, is probably Cuomo, and they're already torpedoing him for his scandals in New York with this commission that he set up that can go look at anybody's bad, dirty laundry except his own. So they're imploding.
And the man who has written Sexy Brilliance and Other Political Lies would know all about being sexy on the political trail, of course. I got about a minute and a half left here. Brand new show coming up on Adult Swim, Black Jesus. Walking the streets of Los Angeles with his Compton posse, a small, mostly useless band of apostles. You're not too thrilled about this, are you?
I think it's very demeaning and patronizing to both Jesus and to black people. Dope smoking, profane black Jesus. And I thought, who better to describe than Barack Obama? But they're actually mocking Jesus, and I don't think it's going to go very well for the Cartoon Network.
Well, it's actually, it's not on the Cartoon Network. I believe that this is on Adult Swim. Well, yeah, that is, you're right. It is all part of the Cartoon Network. Adult Swim, that is their nightly. Sorry, all of a sudden my cartoons went completely out of my head here. But it is made by the guy, Aaron Magruder, who actually made the Boondocks. So isn't this something you would expect from him and his sort of comedy?
Well, not really. Boondocks was actually a little black kid who's sort of a conservative, and he's monitoring what liberals do and the destruction of the black community. It's actually a really interesting topic, in studying how he defined that character. It's almost like what Colbert did in creating this faux conservative. But it makes sense if you think about it. This is just sacrilegious, and quite honestly, I can't see this playing very well. I don't think it's going to last.
I don't think it's going to last very well either. I think there's going to be a lot of people very upset about this. Kevin Jackson, always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. We'll talk to you again real soon.
My pleasure.
All right, take care. Next hour, inside the mind of the CIA as they deal with Putin, Iraq, Afghanistan, and a world that sees America as being more than a little bit ineffective in the leave of his senses. It's all coming up right here on MidPoint, where every day we question everything.